A very lovely evening to you, listeners. Thank you for joining us on the show Towards a Blissful Union today. On today's show, we're talking about financial planning in marriage. I have with me a very experienced guest on this topic. I want you to sit back and relax and join us in a moment. Welcome back from the break. Like I said earlier, I have with me Morolayo Owopusi. She's the Vice President, Finance in an investment firm. She's here to discuss the topic, financial planning in marriage. Please stay with us as I ask her some few questions to give you insight into how you can plan your finance in your home and have a happier home. Because I know no romance without finance. Yeah. You can agree with me. Yeah. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dila.
So I want to find out from you, when is it the best time for a couple to start planning?
The best time actually to start planning for your finances as a couple is as soon as you both know you are going to be settling down together as husband and wife. Okay. I mean, once you are sure that you are going to end up being married, you need to start out planning your finances. So, for example, I've seen cases whereby two people are courting and they are planning to get married, and they expend their whole life savings or investment on just the wedding plans. You know, forgetting that the marriage itself comes with
just a day.
The wedding is just a day, but the marriage is where the big obligations comes from. So, and the honest truth is, if you have finished expending all what you have on wedding plans, what are you going to fall back on in the marriage? You know, if you don't plan properly, before you know it, the marriage will not experience the bliss that it should experience, because money is one of the things that causes tension, strife, bitterness, resentment in a home. So you don't want to start out, you know, on a bad note. It's always good to plan properly. Make sure that you have at least what it takes to sustain you. It's very important you start planning out once you are sure you both are getting married. Because the honest truth is, once you enter into the marriage, as we wake up each day, there are bills to be paid, there are needs to be met that involves money. Honestly. And at that level, the fact that, oh, I love you, you love me, will not handle, it will no longer matter. It can't handle it. I mean, what your partner will be expecting is, let's bring out the money to solve
the situation,
you know, the problems or to meet our needs. So it's always very important that couples plan. They start out planning their finances and not just assume that, oh, love will take care of it. No, it doesn't happen that way.
Somebody said love is blind, but marriage is an high hope now. And you know there's no romance without finance. Yeah. So it is better to start planning at the early stage. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So I also want to find out, you know, what do you think of a joint account and an individual account in a marriage? From your opinion, what works best?
Okay, so really there are advantages of having a joint account, and we also have disadvantages to it. Now, because we are adults, I mean, you expect that the people going into a marriage are adults and they need to be financially independent. Now, for that reason, you need to have your own individual account, because, I mean, each day you might want to go out, want to do your own thing, go to work. I mean, you don't have to wait for your partner before you pay for your tea fare. You don't have to wait for your partner before you get lunch at work or before you buy recharge card on your phone. So you need a personal account.
Or even give yourself
a treat.
Yeah,
so for that reason, you as an adult, you will need an individual account for yourself. However, you can also decide that, okay, we can have joint account towards certain projects that can help us cater for the home. So, for example, if you are now having babies coming into your home, then you want to start thinking of, okay, this baby, by 6 months or 7 months, they will be in creche. How do we pay that baby's creche fee or for their daycare? So you need to start putting something jointly. You can say, oh, okay, from my salary, let me put this into our joint account, so we contribute into that single account as joint account. Now, why I said there are disadvantages to it is because if, for example, a partner can be a sole signatory to a joint account, then that is risky, because that partner, you, as much as you want to trust your spouse,
exactly,
you can't really predict human beings, because human being changes. Bankers will tell you from their work experience that they've seen cases whereby a husband will sweep out all the money in a joint account and elope with another woman. Yeah, and bankers will also tell you that they've seen cases where wives will sweep out all the money in the joint account
and just disappear.
And just disappear. So it's always advisable that when you are running a joint account, both of you must be a joint signatory to that. For control purposes, no single person should be able to take money
out. Be the
out.
sole signatory.
Exactly. And today we are in the age of technology, whereby from
you can be in a remote area and
exactly
just
from your phone, you can do transfers and all of that. If you are going to run a joint account, make sure that if you operate that account online, even if it's online, make sure that one partner holds the token while the other partner has maybe the password. So if you have the token and I have the password, there is no way your token will be useful if you don't have the password. So you always come to me for the password. And if I want to access the account, I will need the token to be able to move money. So that acts as some form of check and balances. But for you to now say, oh, I trust this my partner, I love him so much, I love her so much, and you leave everything.
I was going to ask you, what's the place of trust in this discussion? Actually, after all, two becomes one. You're supposed to trust each other. Trust should be the foundation of the marriage.
Very true.
So why is this very, is it mandatory that it should be this way? Because we have couples that trust each other to a fault.
Yeah. Actually, the honest truth is the ideal should be that you should trust your partner 100%. I mean, you should be able to entrust your finances to your partner and go to sleep. But these days, the truth is you can't. As much as you want to trust your partner, we've seen cases, we've seen things happen in the name of marriages. We've seen deceitfulness happen in the name of marriages. We've seen people dupe each other in the name of, we are married. We've seen where husband will collect huge sums of money from a wife and say, oh, this money is for us to buy land. And the man will elope with the money with another woman. So we've seen several cases. So as a result of that, it's always good to take precaution. It does not mean you don't trust that man and you don't trust that woman. It's actually good for you, because as a human being, you should be accountable and you should be transparent when it comes to financial dealing. Because if we leave you to yourself, the tendency that you will squander the money is always there. But when you have someone that plans with you, that you are accountable to, the person will say, this money you want to go and spend buying just a wig. I've seen women, in my former phase of work, I've seen some ladies, they are online buying wigs of 200,000 naira, like half of their salary goes to buying wig. And sometimes I ask them, excuse me, are you thinking at all? Do you know this money will buy some bags of cement?
Or do you earn money from a beauty pageant or something?
Do you know this money can buy some bag of cement to build a house? Now, let's assume their spouses are beside them, or their spouses can see they are spending 200K on just something like that. The partner may be able to say, my dear, please now, remember we have school fees to pay. Remember our house rent will soon be due. So maybe that could help that partner have a rethink that, considering all this obligation, let me step down. But in a situation where you leave that partner to themselves, they can squander that money on just things, that frivolous things that at the end of the day will not add value to the home.
Family.
Yeah, so that's why as couples, both of you must be accountable. You must know what is going on with your finances, and it should be run in such a way that no single person can take a financial decision or can take huge amount of money out of the account without the knowledge of the other partner. More so if both of them are jointly, putting the money in that account. Yeah.
All right. So some women, they believe that whatever they earn is their own. They believe that contributing to the family is an option. It's just voluntary. It's not mandatory. What do you think of that mentality?
That mentality actually is faulty. And the honest truth is, what I see around these days is some women believe that, once I get married, my financial obligation has ended, because they believe that all their financial obligation will be transferred to the man. But the truth is, if you were not married, if you were still single, you will still do things for yourself. You will buy recharge card for yourself. So the fact that you are now married to a man does not automatically mean that you would not, fulfill any financial obligation. As a matter of fact, you are joining forces with that man to make life easier for both of you.
And for the family.
Exactly, and for the family.
And for the children.
And for the children. Because there's really nothing like my money is my money. I always tell people, once you get married, once you subscribe to marriage, nothing is your own again. It's no longer my it's now our money. And that also goes for the man. That man's money is also our money, the same way the wife's money is our money. Then because of the economy that we find ourselves in, because the honest truth is, no marriage is being run in isolation. Marriages are operated under an economic condition. And we all see what is happening in our economy. There is inflation, high inflation rate, taxes. Now VAT has been increased. It means prices of commodities would go up. And if we are having all of that, you don't expect that one single person can, sustainably provide for the home. It will require two people. Yorubas have this adage that is two hands, that can lift a load. But if you are leaving it to But if you are leaving it to one partner alone, it will breed frustration, because that partner will now feel like, he or she is being used. He or she, they will be feeling cheated. Am I a slave? Am I working for you? But when both of you, no woman should just sit back and say the man should do everything. Even if you have a man that is well-to-do, that is doing everything, you should tell yourself, see, this man may not be. Let me contribute. Because the honest joy. I'm telling you, when you contribute, it even shows that you have value to offer. And the honest truth is, that man may not be there tomorrow. I mean, we don't plan that our spouses should die, but we see things happen. Accidents happen, some things happen, then so many things can happen. Then that job that is bringing that inflow for that man, or that earnings for that man, the man might lose his job. So if that happens, what will happen to you and your children? Because I've seen cases whereby the man is the only provider because he had a job and he lost his job. Because of that, the whole family shut down. They could not afford their rent. They could not afford school fees. The people that were living large now turned to people that moved from a duplex to a room and parlor. Their children that were in private school now turned to children that are going to public school. You don't want to live your life like that. So to ensure that your prosperity as a family is sustainable, two people must join hands together to contribute towards, the prosperity of the home. Don't leave it to one person. And even the men, even if your wife is earning so much, don't now be laid back. I mean, don't depend on her finances or on her income.
That's another side to it.
I'm telling you, because there are some men that, when they say that, this woman is very hardworking,
they take advantage of it.
Thank you. They say that, she's picking up the bills, she's paying the bill. They now take advantage of it. They become laid back. No, that should not happen, because she has that job today. She may not have it tomorrow. And things happen. You know, we are in this life. Things happen. So you should tell yourself, I need to be productive.
Things, unforeseen circumstances.
Exactly. I need to, I need to be productive. I need to contribute. Because if you were not married, even as a man, if you were on your own, you will still spend money to feed yourself. You will still recharge your phone. You will still fuel your car. So why now that you are married, you now feel, oh, all your financial obligations should be transferred to your partner? It's not reasonable.
It's unfair.
Yeah, it's unfair.
It's unfair. Thank you very much. Viewers, I hope you are enjoying what our guest on the show today has been saying. You can see that she's very loaded when it comes to finance in marriage. So I know you want to sit back and, wait for a moment for us to continue this discussion. Please stay with us.
Okay.
Welcome back from the break. We've been discussing financial planning in marriage. So we have mentioned when it's best to start planning, because wedding is just for a day, but marriage is a long-term thing. So you have to really, really plan before you venture into it. Because if you spend all your money during the wedding ceremony, you might have financial strain at the early stage of your marriage. You don't want to experience that. So we're going to discuss more about this topic right away. So, Morolayo, I'm really feeling you on this topic.
Thank you.
So I want to find out, some people have a very funny disposition when it comes to insurance, life insurance, health insurance, When is it important to have an insurance cover?
Okay.
What do you think about this?
Okay, thank you for that question. As human beings, we are exposed to quite a number of things. In the environment where we live, we see what is happening. The stress level is very high. Traffic is everywhere, and the smoke, the air pollution. So we can't really predict if we will be in a state of health, in the nearest future. So that's why it's important to have a health insurance, at least for a start.
Okay.
You must have a health insurance, because anything can happen.
Okay.
Even your kids are.
Do you include this in your plans at the early stage of your marriage?
Yes.
Because some people don't take it seriously until
something happens.
Yes, or probably at the late stage where people now start to, probably due to age or something, now start to have health issues or some, unforeseen circumstances. That's when they will now remember, oh, there's no insurance on anything.
No, I mean, we shouldn't wait till it happens before we take precaution, because really prevention is always better than cure. Now, once you are married, try to, if you are working in a structured organization, most of these organizations will have HMO that covers family. They will have a family plan for you. So what that means is, if your partner or the kids are sick, you can easily use that health insurance package, to take care of them in the hospital without you making any payment, because HMO will cover it. But in a situation whereby you are not working in a structured organization, you still need to approach an HMO to say, okay, I have a family and I would like to buy a plan for them. It's always good to have it, because even once you start having children, you can't predict. Some days they might wake up with high body temperature. Another day you see them bringing out measles on their bodies. Another day it could be tooth issue. So because those issues will always come. So it's important that we have a health plan, no matter how small, even if it's to cover, you, your partner, and maybe one or two kids. Is always important that we have it. Then another thing is life insurance. Now, life insurance is also important because, you know, due to unforeseen circumstances, death too can happen. You know, we don't pray that we die, but people truly die in tons, you know. So once that happens, it's good that even before such happen, that we have, you know, life insurance, such that when one is no more, the family members you are leaving behind, you know, will not be thrown into a state of financial hardship. They will have something to fall back on once you have a life insurance plan. But in a situation whereby you don't have such, that's when you see the children drop out of school, the family is suffering just because they lost their father or they lost, you know, a mother or something like that. So it's always good that we plan for the future, and we shouldn't just live carelessly and just assume that, oh, love and God alone will take care of it. God will do his part. You know, love too is always there, you know, to play its part, but you need to also play your part.
You need to play your part. Please, you can hear from our guest. She has explained the importance of insurance. You know, you don't have to wait until, you know, old age before you say, okay, I want to, or before you realize the importance of insurance. Wives, talk to your husbands. Husbands, talk to your wives. You know, sit down together and think of a way to have an insurance plan for your family. From this, we go to this question. When is it the right time to have home ownership plans? You know, because these days, people just, you know, get carried away with the plans of wedding. They get wedded, then they say, okay, let's just be roughing it. God will bless us. And then they are not even thinking of like home ownership. Like so far we can even feed and pay our bills. We are okay. They do that for years before realizing that we have been paying landlord for long ago. When are we going to have our own? Exactly. So it's like it takes people time after they get married to realize the importance of home ownership. I want you to talk on this.
Yeah, so our dispositions in life, you know, it matters, and, you know, upbringing for different people too also matters. Our upbringing matters. So for some people, they believe that, oh, you don't even think of home ownership until you're in your 50s or 60s. Meanwhile, these days, people in their 30s are already thinking of home ownership. Now, I would say that as a couple, the truth is, in Nigeria especially, things can be hard. You know, we know how the country is.
Yes.
And the honest truth is, the situation of the country is subjecting people to only focus on their daily bread. What we will eat today, you know, where we will put our head, you know, for today. You know, they are just focusing on the now, you know, now. It's making, it's making it difficult for people to think of the future.
Just getting by.
Yeah, just getting by. But the honest truth is, see, the country will always be like this. We pray it will change, but we don't know when that change will happen. It's now left for you as the man and the wife to sit down and tell yourself that, you know what, now we are young. Now we can work, we can earn. As we are working and we are earning, okay, let's, you know, apportion what we are earning. Let this percentage go to feeding. Let this percentage go to education for our children. Let this percentage go to our rent. Now, you that you are earning 500,000 and you are renting an accommodation of 1.5 million, you are already killing yourself, or you are already throwing a spanner into your future, because you should.
Some people will say, I have a standard, you know. I have no matter how much I earn, this must be my standard. This is the kind of place where I want to live. This is how my home should be. State of the art interior, you know, and all that.
It's good, actually, but I personally, I would rather deprive myself for maybe 3 to 5 years, and say, okay, let me stay
with a vision
here, but I now have a plan of owning, you know, while I'm there, I'm working to save some percentage or to invest some money that will help me own something in the nearest future. But not that, oh, you are just living large perpetually, you don't have a plan. And you just wake up one day and you realize that that accommodation, you no longer have resources or means to pay. We've seen where people lose their job and they can't pay their rent, and
they don't have much savings.
Nothing. It has thrown families apart. I've seen where husband went to squat with his friend, wife and children went to squat in their own family house. You know, so the family was apart for like maybe 2-3 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, before the man managed to now get something doing, and they now came back again. So you don't want to put yourself in such ugly situation. So that's why it's important, as you are earning, try not to spend everything you earn. It's not good to spend all that you earn 500,000 and you spend everything. You don't even say, oh, this 100,000, let me put this towards home ownership. Thank God these days so many home ownership plans are springing up.
But they will take you to the outskirts. But some people, their taste, they cannot live in outskirts. They want to live in the in GRA.
I know.
In the city.
See, life is in stages. The fact that today I'm living at maybe Ikeja does not mean tomorrow I may not be. It doesn't mean tomorrow I won't live in Banana Island.
Okay.
For this time, this is what I can afford.
Okay, so the fact that you are living in maybe Warewa or Ikorodu today, does that mean you cannot live in Amen Estate tomorrow?
Thank you. So life is in stages. You will always get there. But where you are right now, still plan with what you have. Make sure you have home ownership plan. Because the honest truth is, if you have your own home, you've broken the backbone of poverty to an extent, because you are no longer thinking of house rent. You are no longer thinking of it. Once you have your own home and maybe you have something at the BQ you rented out, feeding will not be an issue for you. Then sending your children to school,
you know that something will be coming from somewhere.
But rent is what is taking most of the money. So why not look for an avenue to own your own? That's why when I see men fighting with their wives saying, oh, she's disturbing me to come and buy land, to come and build house, and they are quarreling with her because she's offering such advice, I look at such men like, you are not wise. Because a wise woman is telling you, my dear, see this land, let's buy. Let's save money. Let's buy. Let's start putting block together. You should appreciate such woman, and value her, because that means she's helping you to actually break free from poverty. But if your own lifestyle is, oh, let me spend all the money renting, just working for your landlord, and you're not thinking of owning your own, then that is a big problem, actually.
Wow. Need I say more? You've heard it from her. Please stay with us. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back from the break. We've been talking about financial planning in marriage, and we've said a lot on home ownership, on putting money, contributing money together in a joint account for projects, and on also the importance of having an individual account, because you might need, some things for yourself that you don't want to be asking for the other partner's permission before, it gets funded. So I want you to, give our listeners advice on financial management in their home and investments.
Okay, thank you. So as couples, it's very important that when it comes to money matters or your home economics, that you take that decision jointly, and that you are transparent. I mean, you carry each other along. It's very important, because these days, some of the issues that causes fight in the home is usually coming from this finances issue. He's not putting money down for this, she's not doing this,
she's not supporting
she's
me.
not supporting me, I'm the only one doing everything. Or the woman will say,
or in some cases, he's not supporting me, I'm the only one doing everything.
The woman will say, oh, I don't know what he's using his money for, he's not paying school fees, he's not paying this, I don't know what he's paying. So to avoid all of that, please be open, be transparent, know what each other hands, plan your finances together. It will reduce the tension, it will reduce all these unnecessary fights and pressure, because if I'm knowledgeable about what you earn, I will not be asking you. Exactly, I won't be asking you to buy me a private jet when I know your money can't even afford the car. So that would be unrealistic demands and expectations. So it's always good to carry each other along. Then another thing is, even while you are earning, have it at the back of your mind that the income may not always come and it may not always be there. We don't pray that there will be case of job loss or maybe loss of a partner, but you just plan your finances as though it won't always be there, and you must always have something to fall back on. So when you earn, don't spend everything. Like for those of us who are Christians, we will say, 10% of your income goes to tithes, goes to God.
Okay.
The same way you should tell yourself 10% or 20% of your income should be paid to you, because you earn the income. So what I'm trying to say is, you don't go spend all the 90% buying this, buying that, giving it to vendors, to landlord, to this. You must also pay yourself. Now, that 20% you are putting aside to pay yourself is the one you will put in savings and investment. That is the portion that you should use to multiply your income or grow your wealth. Because you must always have something in savings or in investment, so that, God forbid, if something happens tomorrow, you will always have something to fall back on. So don't spend anything. There will be that temptation that, squander everything, spend everything as the money is coming.
I would rather immediately you get your salary, you save first, pay your tithe.
Apportion it.
Exactly, pay your tithe, save first, then plan, have a budget on how you want to spend the rest.
But always have
some
something.
People, immediately they collect salary, spending first. The spending
they pay
starts
other
first.
people, pay this, pay that, pay for
before they even
but
think
they won't
of any
pay
other
themselves.
thing.
So it's always important that we have that savings or investment. If you are going to grow wealth, you must have that money somewhere that is making money for you. And in Nigeria today, we have different ways whereby your money can make money. We have people investing in treasury bills, in bonds, in shares. Savings may not give you so much interest, but at least it's a good start. It will help you to cultivate that habit of setting something aside, but most importantly, try to invest, because that way your money will be working for you even while you are sleeping.
Beautiful. So this is our show for today. I hope you've been able to learn a lot from our discussion. If so, join us again